Welcome to the Architecture Corner. This is the 6th episode. We have here Joakim Lindblom and Greger Wikstrand, and we will talk a little bit how to use IoT within companies and in society. Joakim?
Well, I would say that we are already seeing quite a lot in this space. Many companies are using IoT solutions already, perhaps without even thinking about it. There are examples in the insurance space which are actually you can control, or you as a user you can actually depending on what you're doing, you can get rebates and so on the insurance. And
this famous thing where you drive your car in an unsafe neighborhood and suddenly your insurance goes poof.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you speed, or you take too many left turns, or whatever else might be, dangerous for people driving cars.
Yeah, that could be, and we already see this. Yeah, and talking about cars, I mean, we see also the connected car movement going around. Most of the major corporations are today either supplying or exploring the connected car thing, so to say, and that goes for everything about local security to the more macro level security.
There are lots of sensors in the modern corporation, in cars and climate monitors and security monitors and all the mobile phones and so on and so on.
Indeed, yeah.
And they're already connected. And then you have actuators in terms of climate control again, or you can schedule maintenance for the company fleet, or you can connect employee movements to reimbursing trips or whatever.
Yeah.
Automatically,
yeah.
And I guess the thing that the disconnect here now isn't that you don't have the sensors and the actuators. The disconnect is that you can't take your data and turn it into insights and turn those insights into actions.
No, exactly. And that goes back to standardization, of course. There is no real standard. How do you describe an event, so to say, that something else could understand? But also simply, those are very disconnected pools. Nobody really saw the benefit, perhaps, yet to connect those. But you said maintenance, and I think that's an extraordinary good example. I was working last year with the corporations, which today are supplying heavy vehicles around the world, and these are really expensive stuff. And really today, the only way for them to handle maintenance is by schedule. They should be maintained by a couple of 100 hours, a couple of 1,000 hours of wear. But that's absolutely has nothing to do with the actual wear and tear. There is nothing today that connects that.
Mm. So there are these things where you put a microphone, for instance, in your equipment, and it listens for
rumble.
For rumble, for unexpected sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And things like that. So for very expensive machinery, that's already there.
Yeah, indeed. But the point is that those solutions which are there today, we talk about the scale perhaps around $10,000, and put those in place. So it needs to be very expensive equipment to do that. Mm-hmm. But the point is that if you have like mining equipment and whatever, the actual equipment might cost perhaps $1 million or something. That's not too much. But the point is, if this machine breaks down, the entire mine breaks down. And the cost of stopping a mine for 1 hour is much, much more than that. So the point would be that we need to find solutions that you could use quite cheap, so to say, sensors and quite cheap IoT equipment in order to collect that and to bring the entire mine, in this example, to working.
So the problem is now that in most settings, maybe you can save 2% on your heating bill, but not much else.
No.
But in other settings, where you can save a lot of money and reduce risk a lot, mm-hmm. It's already deployed.
It is
deployed. And the question is there a little segment that we could...
And that's exactly what's happening right now. It's the starting of this middle ground, being able to address that kind of space as well. And I would say that, like you said, most of the time there are sensors. You have this in place. But for instance, maintenance. What we see today is that we go into a point where we talk about predictive asset maintenance, so that you can predict the failure. And the best point would be that you would replace a part precisely before it breaks. That's the best point, because then you would use the old part as long as possible and have maximum life on that, and maximum the benefit of money is maximized.
I have Google Now on my phone, and it goes and it tells me things like, did you know it's Joakim's birthday today? It isn't, but if it was,
could be.
And it tells me that maybe it's time to start driving if you want to arrive at work on time.
Indeed.
And things like that. And I guess it's not exactly Internet of Things, but those kind of simple insights for my own personal gain. If we take that times 100,000 in a large corporation, that could have a major impact.
That could have a really major impact, and also looking at a city, a major town or something. Today, when you service the towns, let's say everything from waste handling to supplying goods and whatever, everything today is based on something. Either you schedule something, or you, in best of cases, you do something like a just-in-time delivery. But everything is based on expectations. You really don't, today, you never ever take reality into account. If you could take this, like you said, you could predict, you could make prediction based on actuals, then we could save enormous amounts of money.
So I use Waze, the social navigation app, and normally it tells me to take the road I would take anyway.
Yeah.
But sometimes something unexpected happens, and it tells me to take this gravel road instead. And I arrive an hour before my colleagues at work.
Yeah, and the point is that this information is there. You could have gone out to the internet. You could have found this information.
Yeah, of course.
But you didn't know.
There is some webpage for it.
For sure, but you didn't know that you should search. And this is the point, that if you have agents, in this case, doing this, they search for you and they provide this information, you can take this information without knowing that you're doing it.
So I think that this is just the beginning. We haven't innovated yet.
No. This is building the base. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to see. If everyone comes on average 1 minute earlier to work, maybe goes home 1 minute earlier, spends less time in queues, and maybe everyone will be a bit happier.
Yeah, indeed. And I would also say that the society would be happier. Today we are building the infrastructures, everything from rails and trains or whatever, on a peak base. Everybody's doing the same thing at the same time. So you need
the same place.
In the same place, and you need the dimension for the peaks. But if we, as a society, could spread out, for instance, the commuting a little bit, just a little bit, the peak would be much lower, and the cost of it would be much lower.
So everyone is talking about the connected washing machine for Internet of Things, and my electricity price is. It would have to be a hell of a lot lower before I could gain back the investment in the automated washing machine starting at the lowest cost.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think that those early things like this one, and also the connected refrigerator and so on, I think those are actually never going to happen. They are really not providing enough benefit. But taking it on from an individual scale up to a society scale, the benefits could be huge.
So the benefits could actually be like... I might save almost nothing, but if everyone had it, we could close down a nuclear plant.
Exactly, that's the point.
So thank you very much for your thinking about how to use IoT in companies and in the society.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.